Jason Guyman here with PressureWashHelp.com, king of pressure washing, and tonight we're just going to have a Q&A session going on here. You have questions, I got answers, and we will make this a fun session. I know I've had lots of people ask me for these sessions, and so that is how we are going to do this tonight. So hopefully everyone is having a great night. And we'll see how this works out here. Turn this back off. But hope everyone is doing well tonight on this Thursday night. I know across the country we've had some hot weather. So let me hear how hot it is where you are this week. What are some numbers that you all were working out in, doing some pressure washing in? Let me hear how hot you all been. Make sure when it is this hot that we are staying refreshed. Make sure we are drinking lots and lots of water. Lots of water is a good thing, so make sure we are staying hydrated, because the last thing I want you to do is Brian Thompson said 93 where he was at 115, where Justin Hout with the heat index 98 so far. Washed in the rain today, not bad at all. I'd much rather wash in the rain than the hot weather. The good thing is about that is you can at least stay cool. So that is awesome. So if you have any questions, start putting your questions in here. This is just going to be a Q&A. I have a few questions that if I don't get many questions, I will do this. And that's bad there. That is not good. We want to make sure we're staying hydrated. Make sure this is the most important thing that we can do is even if we got to take a break, make sure we're drinking plenty of fluids. If we start cramping up, that's usually meaning that we are overheated. It's a good time to have a nice hat on or something to keep that heat off of you so much. It's also making sure that we can put whatever we need to do to make sure that we are staying cool. So that is, I didn't even mean that this here, but it is important that the last thing I need you to do is get overheated, because that is not good at all. Greg put 102, then the rain was a blessing. And sometimes you never see the blessing in the sky such as rain. And so that is awesome. So again, ask your questions down in the comments, whether you're on Facebook or you are on YouTube. Lots of rain and about 80 degrees in Montreal today. Nice. Someone wanted graffiti off of... someone wanted graffiti. What's the best way to get it off? Chemical, and if I don't have heat, pressure washer. You don't need heat for that. What I've done in the past, there's a couple different. So basically, what's the best way to get graffiti off? And so there's a couple different things that we can use to get graffiti off. One is Taganator. Taganator is one. There's elephant snot. There is world's best graffiti removal. And this stuff comes like really, really thick. I've done several of them. We've had the F word all over this community. We had to go through and remove all of them. We had this one building got tagged. We did a bunch of work for them at their house, and now their business got tagged. It was two big BBs. I don't know. I don't think I can pull them up that fast. But there's definitely things that you can do to make graffiti, and graffiti is a good way to make quite a bit of money. This is something, the 5 gallon of that stuff is not cheap, and so there's, you definitely want to make sure that you are charging enough, because the last thing is you don't want to not charge enough, right? Because if we don't charge enough, that is no good. So the only pictures of graffiti I can pull up real quick are the FU words, and I don't want to be putting them on there. But yes, them are definitely something that you can do. And basically this stuff is real thick. It's almost like a paint. And you take a roller and you're going to roll it on and paint it. And you're going to let it sit for about 30 minutes. You're going to make sure it's still wet. You may have to use another coat of it. You may have to put a little water on it just to keep it wet. And then from there, we're just going to take high pressure and it'll wash right off. It's pretty amazing. Now, if you're on painted surfaces, they do some of, I think World's Best makes some like stuff for painted surfaces, or you might actually have to paint it. So if it's brick or concrete or stucco, a lot of times you can get it off. If it's a painted surface, then it actually removing the paint, so it's kind of there. So I do know they make some stuff, some like wipes and stuff that you can do like on metal. The metal that is like semi-trailers, stuff like that. So you could take that and wipe them off, and they have wipes. And again, that's world's greatest graffiti removal. There's elephant snot, there's Taganator, so that is a good question. Just making sure you're charging enough for it. This is usually an emergency call because they don't want this on there. So, you know, make sure that you are charging enough so that way you are making money, because the last thing I want you to do is not making money. So that is what we want to look at. So again, if you have questions, just ask them. I see we're getting some questions coming in here, so that is awesome. This week, I know it's been hot, so we got to stay cool. So that's what we got to do. Juliet put, how do I target high-end neighborhoods? This is a good point. This is a good question. This is what I would say for that. This is how I've done it in the past. One way you can do it is go to USPS, USPS.com, I believe it is, or .gov. I don't know what it is, to be honest. And they actually have a site that you can do your EDDM mailers, and from that you can actually find out what the average income is of the house. And you can find out a lot of information about that. Sometimes you can go to melissadata.com, or I don't think it's .com, melissadata something, and it will tell you also how much or what stuff is worth and what are your high zip codes and stuff like that. So that is one way you can do it. You can see where some of your higher tickets are. You know, if you're getting past jobs and you want to see those past jobs of where your higher tickets at, might not be in the best, nicest neighborhood. It might be somewhere else. So, you know, those might be some more target areas that you want to hit. You know, you might want to see where the Mercedes dealers are and high-end dealers. I actually talked to a good friend of mine. He's actually in a little bit different business, but this kind of goes back to, you know, how do McDonald's and Wendy's know where to put their store? How do tire stores know where to put their stores at? How do people know where those high-end areas is? And this is something that you can do, maybe not so much as maybe look at businesses that you are getting the same customers, right? Who are the same customers that you are looking for versus what are customers that are that you would have the same customer client, and seeing where they're putting their stores at, right? So maybe, for instance, my buddy, he puts in audio equipment. He puts in the radios and stuff like that. And so there's I believe it is a high-end kind of maintenance garage that he knows that they do their due diligence and they put their stores in those high-end neighborhoods and areas. And so whenever he's thinking about expanding, he puts his store close to theirs. And it's the same thing that McDonald's does. You know, wherever there's a McDonald's, there's a Wendy's. Why do they do that? Because they know they have already, whoever, one or the others, already done all their due diligence, and they know that it's going to make money there. And you might say, Jason, well, why would I want to be a competitor of being right next door to each other? Actually, you make more money. There was a study done that if you just have a Coke machine and you have that one Coke machine there and you don't have nobody else there, and you will make, say, $100. But if you put a Coke machine and a Pepsi machine next to it, now they'll make $200 a piece. And why so is because instead of just being like, do I want a Pepsi or Coke, or do I want a Pepsi, or do I not? Now it's, do I want a Pepsi or do I want a Coke, right? Now I've given two, now there's not even an option of not having any. And so this is the important part with even competition. You know, I've seen Christmas light people struggle because there wasn't a lot of competition there, so there wasn't a lot of people knowing what was going on. And so this is why it is important that competition isn't always bad. And don't be competition, just be friendly competitors and go at it that way. Because if you both are selling the same price at, you know, McDonald's and Wendy's, if you look at them, they're both selling the $7 hamburger. There's not much difference between whether it's Wendy's or McDonald's. So that's the important part when we're looking at this of doing that. Is there any difference you do to slate pavers other than using a house wash mix? You could go a little bit stronger than a house wash mix if you need to, if you're afraid to put too much pressure on them. You may have to go a little bit hotter than that. Ever heard of lemon dance surfactant is a bleach enhancer? I have not heard of that. I've not heard that. And I haven't. Yes, stay hydrated, especially when you're old like Brian. You got to stay hydrated. And I like poking at people, and he's one of them that I poke at. So I'm still listening to the magic. We got skipped by rain twice. Humidity is ridiculous. It can be, for sure. I am new, and I have a question. Awesome. I have an answer. My cleaning bleach solution became very hot and bubbly in a bucket today. Not sure what happened. Well, if you put something in there with a surfactant with a citrus acid in it or something along that, if you put anything in that bleach, or you put that bleach in a bucket that had acid in it or something like that, this is what happens. So I don't know if I haven't seen him on here yet, but Al Bianchi, he put something on here. He called me one day and he's like, man, my tank is fuming and it is going nuts and it's so hot you can't touch it. It's out in the garage. I can smell it in the house. And what he had done is he had put bleach in there. That was his bleach tank, and he was using a like lemon. It was like pine sol or something, but it was enough that it had the acid in it from the lemon or whatever it was that was reacting to the bleach. And so this is why it is important that we never put something in with bleach that doesn't play well with each other. Because if we put things in with bleach that doesn't play well with each other, if it's in a container that is enclosed, it will literally blow up. One drop of acid in a bucket and you put bleach in it, it will blow up the container, or it's going to off gas. So in your case, it was off gassing and it's bubbling and it's doing a different state at that point because it's reacting, and that is a bad thing. So this is why we have to know what we are putting in together. This is why we put bleach on one side of the truck and our acids on the other side of the truck. This is why I tell you to, if you're going to use a bucket for bleach, it only gets bleach in it. If you're going to use a bucket or a pump up sprayer with acid in it, it only gets that acid in it. We want to put the label on it. We want to do everything we can to make sure that we don't put other acids in there, or we don't put bleach in an acid bottle, because all it takes is one drop. And I can show you photos after photos of people blowing stuff up because they did not do what they've mixed the chemicals, and there was, they may have dumped it out, and then the next thing they know, it blows up. And it's not a pretty sight when you see this stuff blow up. In fact, it can be very dangerous. Some of this stuff you may put in a pump up sprayer that it could be even just a regular chemical, sodium hydroxide. Sodium hydroxide is one of those chemicals that gets hot. And so we have to be careful when we're putting this stuff under pressure, because when we put stuff under pressure, it's not, if it don't have a good relief valve on it, it will blow up. And so what I'm looking for is a picture right now. Here is a picture of a bottle that has blown up, right? This is one that's not too bad. This is actually one that, you know, it's not too bad. I'm going to show you another one here that it's not too good. This picture here is not so good, right? Look at this picture. This picture here blew the bottle plumb straight up into shreds. So this is why we have to be careful when we're putting stuff in there. So if it's bubbling and it's boiling and it's doing something, that meant there was probably something already in that bucket, and that is not a good thing. And so this is why I say we have to make sure, you know, I know people are like, man, I want to put this in my butt, you know, I'm going to put this surfactant, or I want to put that surfactant. And we don't know if them surfactants play well with each other. We don't know if that surfactant, actually, if you put Dawn in a bucket with bleach, it actually says on Dawn not to put it in bleach because it will have a chemical reaction with bleach. And so this is why it is important that we do not put chemicals, because this here will literally blow your head off. This one here, I think it sent him to the hospital if I remember right. Had a quite rough Monday. I was doing a house wash and a rust removal on a large apartment complex. I had aluminum brightener and a pump-up sprayer and was carrying it around the building. Long story short, the pump-up sprayer exploded. It felt like a grenade went off in my hand. It broke my thumb, 12 stitches in my thumb, shattered my big toe, broken third toe, and split open foot. It did all this damage through my Huck boots without cutting them open. Solely impact from explosion. I would post pictures, but it's pretty gruesome. I only had aluminum brightener in it. So that aluminum brightener, as we were carrying it around, as it was getting hot outside, it was causing those molecules to start acting crazy. And if we don't have a good pump-up sprayer that will pressure release off of it at a certain point, it blew up. It broke his thumb, broke his toe, broke his other toe. And so this is why we got to remember to be safe. We do use chemicals to clean, and when we use chemicals to clean, we have to be careful what we're doing. And I know I've spent, 4 or 5 minutes on this, but I want you to remember this. We are using chemicals, and it is very dangerous. It is dangerous to the point that I want you to get in your head that it is dangerous. And I want you to know that, just because we do whatever and we done it 100 times doesn't mean the 101 time when we're careless and not paying attention that it won't blow up on us. And so this is why I want to hit on that. I want to hit on one more thing here, if I can find it here quickly, because this is another part of safety. I love safety, and I want you all to be safe. I love you all to make money, and I want you all to make money, but I also want you to be safe, because the last thing I want you to do is go and get injured and go and get hurt, and that is not a good thing to do. So we have to be careful whether we're dealing with chemicals or we're dealing with a ladder. Another thing is a ladder. We have to be careful on ladders. We got to be careful on ladders. The last thing I want you to do is fall off on a ladder and get hurt. Get up on a roof, we fall off on a roof. In fact, this week I seen a picture of a guy, and I was not happy with him. He was up on a metal roof with no tie off, no nothing, and that is not safe. It is not safe. How many times I got to tell you, getting on a metal roof is not safe without anything on, because this is how you can get hurt very quickly. And so this is why I want you to know that you have to be safe, guys. It don't matter how much money you make if you fall off the roof and you break your head. And yes, you can break your head when you fall off the roof. And so this is why I am telling you this, is so that way here. Here's another thing I'm going to hit on. So we talked about chemical. Let's talk about this one here. Let me see if I can pull this picture over here. And I'm going to talk about this here because this is another one that can cause injuries and can cause big time. You can lose your fingers. You can lose everything. And so the last thing I want you to do is go losing fingers, go doing stupid stuff. And this is a problem. So this in here is Jason Inslee. He posted this hose that blew. If you go up here and you touch that hose, it is not going to be good for you. It's going to be very bad for you. So we want to make sure that we do not, when this happens, we go shut machine off. We don't go grabbing hose. Yes, it's in that door. Yes, it may screw up that door. If you go up there and start pulling on that hose and you get one drop in you, it is not going to be good for you. It can kill you. Literally, you get one drop of water into your bloodstream and go to your heart and you die. And I don't want you dying. I want you to make money, but I don't want you dying. So I know I just spent 15 minutes on safety, but it's important. We hit the heat index of 118 or 112. Luckily, I was just washing campers. Mr. George. And again, if you just joined, I'm answering questions. I'm going to have to start answering questions faster than what I just answered there. Otherwise, I'm not going to get through to too many questions. And I am on Facebook. I think I got you up on Facebook. Where did my Facebook go at? I got you up on Facebook, and there you are. I know we had some questions there too. My uncle said I don't need fall arrest when walking on a wet, soapy roof in the rain. You do need it. Al put my tank almost exploded. And I already talked about you, Al, when I first started on that thing. Felt like 107 today in old Alabama, and I wanted to nosedive off of the roof today. Knocked out 2 jobs and home by 1 o'clock. That's awesome. Awesome. What's this question? I know I've been covered. I know that it's been covered so many times. I'm being quoted $3,500 for insurance, general liability insurance that would allow me on a roof, plus cover accidents of my own doing. Yeah, so that's going to depend on state to state, and basically this question is what insurance. And so some things that we need to make sure that when we are looking at insurance, that we have the right insurance policy. And so that is the number one thing. Another thing is, I know you had put on here, is to see how much it costs. Sometimes you might as well go ahead and get your equipment covered, so that way if someone steals your equipment, that it's covered too. And yes, I know it's going to cost you, but in the end, is it cheaper than having your stuff stolen? And just an FYI, there's a good chance that people are going to be stealing more and more because they're hurting for money. And so just saying. And then 2 on that, make sure that you are covering for plants. Not all insurance are going to cover plants, and this is something to remember. If you go and kill kill $10,000 worth of plants, and you're not covered, yes, you have general liability insurance, and you don't have the right plant coverage, then you paying out $10,000 for a new landscape to be put in there, and $10,000 might be cheap. And so these are some things that you might want to think about insurance coverage. If you are within the or if you're within Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, a couple of these states here, I don't know how far he goes out. Matt Zinzer, you're best off to go to pressurewashhelp.com/insurance, and it will send out a form, and it'll send him the form. I think it still works. It's been a while since I've done it. What should I use on a house wash for new construction cleanup? Chemical. You don't really need a chemical for that much, because sodium hypochlorite or pool shock or bleach is only going to kill the mold, and at that point you're not going to have no mold, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Bleach oversprays burning skin. What can I use to keep skin clear? don't get it on you. And I know that's not always easy, and this is one of those things that if you, especially roof mix, you got to get that stuff off of you. I don't care if you fill your boot up with water to get that off of you, because it can give you third-degree chemical burns. And so I didn't even go over chemical burns, but try to spray with the wind. Try to, if you're really sensitive, maybe wear pants or a polyester or something that, or like a rain suit. I know people that actually wear rain suits, and that way it keeps it off of them. What should I be paying? Any recommendations? Depends, and everything's going up, so who knows. Best wood deck cleaning. Been thinking about F-teen and Oxbright. So this is a whole nother conversation, and if you ask anybody, you can get 25 answers. And so this is what I did, because I like keeping it simple. I don't like having 15 chemicals on my truck. That's not what I like to do. I like having 1 or 2 chemicals. And so what I did is I had bleach, because that does 90% of the work, and that's all I want to do anyway. I don't want all these other chemicals on there. All these other chemicals don't always mean that you're going to go do this money. And I know people sell chemicals, and people love buying, and you guys love buying the latest and greatest and the fangle dangle and all that stuff at the end of the day. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not telling you to do that. I've never told you to do that. Only chemical I've ever told you to do is go get sodium hypochlorite. You can use a surfactant that has a good smell scent. But other than that, that can make you, that's 90% of your jobs. And then if you do need special chemicals, there is some that I would, maybe like One Restore. One Restore works really good. It's kind of safe, or an F9. One Restore really does do a lot. It can take care of a lot of stuff. But other than that, I know people that go buy hundreds and thousands of dollars of chemical and they never get used. Because one day I'm going to use it. Well, one day probably never comes. I know Jason Hefner, he said he bought, when he first started, he bought this whole shelf full at his house. And 2 years later, he still has a whole shelf full of chemicals that he's never used. And so this is why I'm telling you this. I've got chemicals when I first started that I've never used. And so these are some things that, I am just telling you, so that way you don't have to have all these chemicals. And so that's just something there. So what I did for deck cleaning, I usually did a house wash mix, and I did and cleaned it. That's all I ever did. Can I do Oxbright? Absolutely I can. I can use oxalic acid. You don't even need to get Oxbright. You can go get oxalic acid, and it'll do the exact same thing. But here's the deal. In 2-3 weeks, it's going to look the same whether you use oxalic acid or not, because it's going to be weathered wood in 2 or 3, 4 weeks. And so it's just like you throwing a 2x4 out there. Yes, it looks brand new in the store, but a month later, it looks just like all the other 2x4s that are sitting out there. And so, what is it? But you can use sodium hydroxide, you can use sodium whatever the M word one is. You can use all different kinds of things out there. But again, keep it simple. Sodium hydroxide, sodium peroxide, you can use all kinds of stuff. But I like keeping it simple. Jason, I am too late in this year to start pressure washing. Nope, you're never too late to start pressure washing. It is a good thing to start learning, because you're never going to, because here's the deal. If you start now, you'll start getting all of your stuff ready for when spring hits. You'll be ready to rock and roll, and you'll have all your pictures. And even if you start it now, depending on your area, you can still do $50,000. You can still do $40,000. I've got a lot of people that take my class in the middle of the year and do very well, because there's plenty of money to be made. And it all comes down to marketing. If you do the right marketing, I can get you there. It's not hard. If you're willing to do a little bit and you're willing to do stuff, you can definitely make money doing that. That's why I do classes. So if you're in the West Coast, I'm having a class coming up. You can go to pressurewashhelp.com/dates. And I know I've got 2 people signed up, I believe, or they're saying they're going to sign up, 2 or 3. So it's going to be a small class, which I love smaller classes because now I can do more one-on-one versus 1-on-10. And it's just easier for me to do one-on-ones versus a larger class. So go check that out. And then there's Christmas lights. And you can make $100,000 your first year in Christmas lights. And Christmas lights is great money. How much do I have to when I get down there? I don't pay Al nothing. Somebody gave me a super chat. I appreciate the super chat. I don't pay Al nothing. Al makes I've taught Mal how to make a whole lot of money. So Al was a school teacher for 30 some years, a PE school teacher. And he's worked probably the last 20 years. He would clean and seal decks. And he was doing it for dirt cheap. Literally dirt cheap. He was doing it for $2 a square foot, maybe less, to clean and seal. He was literally making no money. He didn't know he wasn't making money. He was a lot like some of you are out there I was making $20 an hour, and I'm making good money, 20, 30 bucks an hour, and I'm making good money. And what you learn is that's not good money, because that's not how to run a business. And so these last 2 years that he has quit his full-time teaching job, he retired, he's made $100,000 because he listened to me. Now, it was a little hard-headed in him, and I had to poke at him, and I had to prod at him and tell him to raise his prices, and guess what? Now he's making really good money, and he don't even work all the time. He's half retired, and he makes really good money. He's got a really good network of people. He's got, you got to think 30 years of high schoolers going through your class. Who is your favorite teacher usually is the PE teacher, because you can sit on your nuts and not do anything. And that's who you want to, and everybody loves the PE teacher. And so he's got 30 years of people that are lawyers, that are, college or NFL players and everything out there that have come through him, and that he is doing it. One of the decks I did was one of his old students, and the wife was like a lawyer. I mean, it was some stupid, crazy high-end house that we were at on the lake, and they were doing all this work, and that's why we are able to be networking. A lot of times they say your net worth is your network, right? So if you have a good network, you can make you a lot of money with that. Offering bids at a lot more than average area pricing does not account for the cost of getting the bid. Jason, how do I know if it's high-end neighbor to put signs? How do I know it's a high-end neighbor? Well, you can look and see how much the houses cost. Go to Zillow and see what the houses cost in that neighborhood, and if that an average cost of there. Again, you can also go to USPS, and that will tell you what those houses are worth. That was with Taganator or Elephant's Knot, or both the same process. It's the same process with both, but Taganator is the one I use. Checking in from Long Island. How do you charge for graffiti? Taganator is amazing on painted surfaces. We would charge a lot. I mean, the bucket of Taganator is like it used to be like $200 or $300 for a 5-gallon bucket, so it's not cheap. And you would use quite a bit on it too. Are you doing Christmas lights near New York? Probably not. I might be doing it up in Pennsylvania. I don't know if I'll be doing it in New York. No, Julia. You can start marketing your service even before you get jobs. Yes. You don't even need equipment. Go get jobs. And then you go rent equipment and get it going. You'll be surprised how much money you can make on rent equipment. World's greatest. Okay, thanks. Roll on and keep a small pump-up sprayer with water in it only. Mist over it to keep wet, 30 minutes, pressure off. And basically he's talking about the pump-up sprayers. use a pump up sprayer with water in it and just mist that, so that way it keeps it from going. Big jobs on the horizon. It's awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Question, please. Well, I have an answer, maybe, because you got a lot going on here. You used an 8-gallon 12-volt in your video to make soft wash setup for $500. Actually, that was a 7-gallon, or might have been a 5-gallon. Can you tell me what pump you used so I can get the same? I believe that was a 5-gallon. A lot of people there is not much difference between the 5 and 7-gallon, except the 5, whatever reason, lasts a lot longer than the 7s. A lot of the 7-gallon per minute pumps have issues. The wiring issues. Flip them rocks. Who's flipping rocks? Let's ask that question here. Who all is flipping rocks? And you might say, well, what's flipping rocks? Well, let's talk about what's flipping rocks. Flipping rocks is, hey, Jason, you know what? I got done today at 1 o'clock, and I'm hot and sweaty, and I just want to go home. It's 80 degrees. It's 112 degrees, and I just want to go home and sit back in the air condition and see if the phone's going to ring. That is not flipping rocks. Flipping rocks is going and getting done at 1 o'clock today, and we have 2 or 3 hours that I don't need to do nothing. I'm going to have a new shirt. I'm going to change my shirt so I'm not all sweaty and nasty as bad. Maybe change shorts too, or pants, whatever you're in. And we go looking at dirty buildings, and we go handing out business cards to apartment complexes. We go hand out business cards to dirty buildings, hotels, motels, different places, and we go in and say, hey, I just seen that you have a dirty building here, and we have a solution for you. You have a pain point, we have a solution, and this is the solution of we will clean your building for you. How much would you like to quote? Who do I need to talk to? Who is the gatekeeper? Who is the gatekeeper is, how do we get to the main guy? And then, which we've been talking about LinkedIn in the membership. So if you're in the membership, I talked a lot about LinkedIn this past Monday. I'm going to be talking about LinkedIn again this Monday. I'll be talking about LinkedIn again next Monday, because LinkedIn, now we can get the business card that they gave us. Now we have their email address. Now we can go find them on LinkedIn, and then we can contact them through LinkedIn. Imagine that. Did you know you could use LinkedIn to grow a commercial and get business through that? That's amazing, right? That's amazing that you can go make money through doing that. So flipping them rocks is definitely something that is important to do. What do you use on hard water spots on stained front doors? What was that one stuff that it wasn't Brasso? What was Jeremy Maine had some issues with it and put it on there. I can't think what the name of it is. If I think of it, I'll let you know, Brian. Lemon Dancer is kind of popular in my area. I don't use it. G-Day, mate. Good day, mate. Lee, live on the job right now. QLD, Australia. I make sure my pump-up sprayers are all identified and don't have other products in there. That's a good point. Show them your those two pictures. I just did. I did a while ago. I made the mistake of mixing acid with bleach. That is a bad mistake. That is not a good mistake. I told them about Al's experiences. My whole SH tank caught on fire. It was on fire, Flagel. Just starting out as a weekend warrior. Recently bought Flexzilla hose and extension pole. Don't know why you need all for that. Looking to purchase a pressure washer. What are your thoughts on the brand Simpson? They're okay. I'm not a big fan of them. Try to get a 4-gallon minute belt drive, or try to get a 5.5-gallon minute. If you can buy the 5.5-gallon minute, that's where you're going to be better at. Go rent a pressure washer. How much money you got? Go spend that in signs. That would be my suggestion. What? Jason, you want me to buy signs before I buy a pressure washer? Yes, I want you to go close jobs before you get a pressure washer. Because if you can close jobs, you can get the pressure washer. But if you can't close jobs, that pressure washer ain't going to make you no money. I can go rent a pressure washer from Lowe's for less than $100 for the weekend, and I can make $2,000 for that weekend. And then I can buy a better pressure washer. Now I'm not buying a crappy pressure washer. I'm going to go buy me a better pressure washer. I'm not going to buy me the DeWalt pressure washer that kind of sucks. I can buy me a 5.5 gallon, which will speed up my time even faster. And so that's why I say what I say. 7,000 concrete is $1,400 too cheap. I don't know. That sounds kind of cheap. Let me see here. Let me see if that's too cheap. So we go. So we take $1,700 or 1,400 square feet. This is how you do bidding, guys. So we take $1,400, or wait a minute. I'm sorry. 7,000 square feet, and we times that by 0.30, and we're at $2,100. Or we could be at 7,000 square feet. 7,000 square feet times 0.25. We're at $1,750. That's probably where I'd be at. Heat causes chemicals to gas off and extra pressure to build up in closed containers or a pump-up sprayer. Some Dawn is bleach safe. That is true. You are true. I would not recommend using Dawn on any of it, though. Simpson is a fine brand. Hit the like button if you're getting value. And Al still loves me, so I'm sure you hit the like button. I still love you. What up, boys? How much questions we getting here? I might have to start going to these super chats with the questions. What up, boys? Shout out from Arizona. Hey, Jason, do you know anyone that has built a wood skid for a truck bed? Yeah, I did. It wasn't the most prettiest thing, but it worked. I made the mistake of mixing up drums. That's not good. What machine should I get if I'm looking about it on the weekends? I like the 5.5 gallon with the little Honda 390 on it. I did. Also for us larger tanks, that SH chemical venting hose. Christmas lights. Who loves Christmas lights? Who all in here is going to do Christmas lights this year? Did you know you can make a lot of money doing Christmas lights? Christmas lights is a money-making printing thing. You can print money with Christmas lights. It's amazing. Got to be safe. No job is worth your health or life. That is true. You're on Facebook. Yes, I'm on Facebook too. How would the best way I should go about registering with the state, or is it necessary? Go to the Secretary of State, and there you will find, there should be a link somewhere on there, whatever state you are, of starting a new business. Christmas lights is insane in the membrane business, Mark put. Mark actually came to one of my in-person classes. He flew all the way from Los Angeles, Orange County, California, to come to my Christmas light class. And I'm actually going to have a Christmas light class on the West Coast this year, and it's going to be in Seattle, Washington. And so you can go check it out at pressurewashhelp.com/dates. So these are hands-on classes. My classes aren't, hey, look at me do this, and now you don't do it. My classes are, first off, we go through the PDFs, and then it's about a half a day slideshow, and then we go out, and then I show you how to do it, and then you get to do it. And so that's why it is important that we do this, so that way you get to have hands-on to do the stuff. And then day 2 is all about marketing. It's all about marketing, because I love marketing, because I think day 2 is 10 times way more important than day 1. Yeah, it's nice to be able to do hands-on. Yeah, it's nice to learn about the chemicals and all of that kind of stuff. But if we don't know how to get the jobs and we don't know how to bid jobs, it don't do us no good to have the equipment. Because you can buy equipment real cheap a lot of times because people want to get into pressure washing and they buy all this nice equipment and then they don't know how to get jobs, and then the next thing they know is they're selling the equipment for half the price of what they bought it for. So I don't want you to be one of those people. I want you to be the person that goes out there, figures out the marketing, do the marketing. You are your business. You are the person that's selling your business. And so you have to be able to go out there and make things happen. So that's what I'm going to hit on that. Mr. David Flipping, how are you doing tonight, sir? Back again, Lee Firm, Australia. I'm on the job right now. Mornings work $1,100. That's pretty awesome. Looking to do campers in the park, so I use roof wash on the metal roof. Yeah, we got to be careful on campers because we can screw up stuff. Do yard signs work? How many people in here think do yard signs work? Money bushes. Do yard signs work? That's about a dumb question right there. Sorry, Mark. Money bushes are amazing. I can show you people in here that's made over $100,000 a year off of money bushes. Jason, do you think there's a benefit to joining 2 5.5 gallon machines? Yeah, it gives you 10. Brian put, hell yeah, they work. Moneybushes.com. Money bushes are amazing. Jason, do you think there's a benefit of joining 2 5? Yeah, 10 gallon a minute, you'll clean a lot faster than that, just 5 gallons. Make sure your insurance covers roof washes as a standalone. This guy is the real deal. Always speaking truth to the power. Oh, that must be where you got. Always wear eye protection for overspray. Still trying for my first commercial job. Just recently got my business listed on Google Maps. Any tips? Money bushes. You just got to keep flipping rocks and keep doing the marketing, man. It's all about marketing. Like I've said before, I preach it and I preach it and I preach it. And I know you guys hear me preach it, but equipment isn't... You can buy all the nicest equipment you want. They'll give you financing. They'll do everything for you. They'll finance it for you, so you go in debt, and it'll be nice and shiny, and it'll look beautiful, and you'll be like, "Ooh, look at this stuff," and your phone will be like, nothing. No ringy. Why no ringy? Because you spent $20,000 on a rig and no ringy. I don't know why ringy won't ringy. Marketing. How do you pressure wash the outskirt of the dock? With pressure washer. You can use sodium percarbonate. I believe it is about the only thing you can use. Somebody put a laughy face. Hell yeah, they do. I agree with Tom right there. Do they work? A $4 super sticker. Pure character stretching his arm forward to offer a cup of coffee. Well, thank you. 2 chemicals I use. Bleach and sodium hydroxide. How do I get clean the gutter stripes off the metal? You will use a sodium you can use gutter grenade, or you can use gutter butter. Either one of those will work. What should I do when a tap has low water pressure? I run an 8 gallon a minute with a 50 gallon buffer tank. I find myself waiting on water constantly. One thing is to see if you have a 3/4 inch garden hose. Make sure you take all the garden hose off the reel. If you're using a Hudson float valve, that can cause low water flow. The Judd valve works better. Sometimes going through the hose reel will slow you down, and so you may want to do like a quick connect where you can quick connect it straight into the tank. The other thing is when you do have good water pressure, make sure you're driving with a full tank of water if you can. I mean, 50 gallons, that's not a whole lot. I know it's what, 400 pounds, but that's another thing you could do. Send the man a cup of coffee. He deserves it. Appreciate you. Does Cleansall BC work the best for oxidation? My neighbor asked me, and that is all I could think of. Their house is so bad, I told them I just need new siding. They just need new siding. So put the money into Google My Business. Yeah, that's the other thing. Cleansall BC does work, is one of your better chemicals for oxidation removal. It is. I know there's a video out there that makes it look real simple, but it's not always that simple. I had another guy started on aluminum siding, and the paint fell off of the aluminum siding, and he's like, what do I do? I'm like, you're screwed. And so that's what you got to watch out for. I love this coach. He made me $150,000. No better time to start than now. And that's a good point of what Julia hit. It is just start. The best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The next best time is now. Because here's what happens if you don't start now. You will find 10 other reasons why you'll never start. And so just take action. Just do it. Just do it. Can I use a surface cleaner to clean travertine outdoor patio for contractor before he seals it? Should I use a mild degreaser as a pre-treatment? It depends. If it got grease and oil on it, use a degreaser. If it's got mold on it, use bleach. That's what it is. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Jason, how much do you pay Al to cheer you on? Seems like a lot. So I thought this may help. Hope both of you are well. I don't pay. He don't pay me nothing. And I don't pay him nothing either. He just makes a lot of money from what I've told him, and he listened, and he appreciates me, and I think I appreciate him. You might get a mild winter. You could potentially clean right up to Christmas, depending on where you live at. That is true. I get $16 per meter for clean and seal. Nice. Do you make customers sign agreement before drawing anything? I never did. $100,000 part-time. All because you said raise your prices. And this was the hardest thing for Al. Al had the hardest time in struggling to raise his prices. He didn't believe me at first. He didn't believe me, but he did it. And there was times that I would call him and he was like, I don't know about this, Jason. I don't think it's going to work. And I'm like, just raise them. And then he'd call me, you know what? I'm getting this much money out of this. Can you believe that they paid that? Nope, I don't believe that they're paying it, but they will pay it. He's like, and then he was like, he did a lot of deck cleaning a lot of deck cleaning and sealing for cheap for so many years. And I'm like, keep raising your prices. And so he was up to $8, $10 a square foot to clean and seal. You know what? If you're at $8 to $10 a square foot to clean and seal, it's not so bad to clean and seal at that point. It's not as bad when you're making good money off of it. All I knew, I liked you the first time I saw one of your videos. You were at a Chick-fil-A and getting pissed off at the hose. I laughed because I do the same daily. Yeah. My best day so far is $4,500 or $4,400 in 5 days worth of work. That's no BS. That's awesome, dude. Oh, that's not the one I want. That's awesome. It can be done. It can be done. Flip them. Dumb question. No dumb question. The only dumb question is the dumb question that you didn't ask. Does laundry detergent work well as a surfactant? You can use laundry detergent. I've used Gain before. It works okay. I keep a change of clothes in my truck. Savannah did 5 commercial cold calls and networked at a chambers meeting just today. Flipping rocks queen. That's what it's all about, man. Here's the thing, guys. You might think that you're just an average Joe? Who all in here thinks that you're just an average Joe? Who all in here thinks that I don't have no college education. I've never went to college. My mom, my dad told me I was a piece of crap. I'm no good. You can't do nothing. You work for 15, 20 bucks an hour. You can't be nothing. You're just not what you need to be. You're not that smart. You can't do nothing. You can't be anything. How many people here has had those thoughts through their head or has been told that in their lifetime? How many? You don't have to answer, but you know who I'm talking about. Well, I want to let you know something. Savannah and Andrew, they're just average Joes. I'm pretty sure neither one's never been to college. Neither one never done nothing amazing, right? And, before COVID hit, he was a painter making they were both painters, or I know he was, and she worked some too, making $40,000 a year, just struggling to get along, not having anything. Then COVID hit. Then they lost a lot of everything. They were living in a camper, and the kids were living in the grandparents' house, and they didn't have nothing, right? Nothing, just them, right? Just them. And they had some things going on in their life. She had some things going on in her life, like everybody does. It wasn't peachy, it wasn't that. And they started with me, and I've started helping them grow. And they're in Florida, where you can't make no money in pressure washing, right? You can't make no money in pressure washing because obviously you're in Florida and there's no money in pressure washing because that's what everybody tells you, right? That's another negative. Be careful what you speaking. Be careful what you're speaking, because what you speak is what you believe. If you speak negativity, you will believe negativity. If all you hear is negativity, that's all you will ever hear is negativity. You will never find no positivity. So be careful how you speak. Be careful how you speak to others. Be careful how you speak to your kids. When you talk to your kids, talk into your kids. Don't talk down to your kids. Talk into your kids. You are amazing. You are beautiful. You are so smart. You are so good at what you do. Yeah, you know what? You might not be the best at math, but don't worry about it. You might be amazing at English, right? Let's focus on the positive. And let's do that with our kids. Let's do that with our spouse. Let's do that with... How many here thinks that if you focused on the positive with your spouse, it would be way better than you suck at cooking, right? Or you suck at cleaning. You're an amazing spouse. You do amazing whatever you do. Point out the good stuff. So let me get back to my story here. So one business card, when they first started, one little business card is going to help them make almost $1 million this year in a pressure washing business. Pressure washing, they did add painting, but in a pressure washing business, $1 million. They're probably going to hit that. They might even hit more than that. Off of $1 million. But she is still doing 5 commercial cold calls and networking at the chamber meeting just today, flipping rocks. Just because you're going to do $1 million, just because you're going to do 500,000, just because you're going to do 750,000, doesn't mean that you can go sit on your nuts and do nothing, because that's not going to keep you moving. You can do it. And this is somebody that they're just two plain Joes. I've had them on my podcast 2 or 3 times. Go back and watch the one where me and Savannah are both crying in the stupid thing because she tells her story. And her story is amazing. And you know what? She's doing amazing things, and she's going to keep doing amazing things. And that's the most important thing. And you can do amazing things. You might think that you are whatever, maybe, but you don't have to be that smart. You just got to be consistent. You got to be prolific, and you got to be relentless. You got to do it when everybody's telling you can't do it. Benjamin Gregory, he's another one that's going to do $1 million this year. You know what? His uncle said, what are you doing with your life? Why are you screwing up your life for? Do you think that's very positive? Do you think that's going to help you out in a whole lot of things? No, it is not. But you can do it. There's nothing special about me. There is nothing special about me doing $1 million. Not a thing. But you know what? I've been consistent. I've been prolific, and I've been relentless. I get on this YouTube every Thursday night and every Sunday night to help you grow your business. Because my goal is to help you make $100,000. That's my personal goal. My personal goal is to help 1,000 people make $100,000. And I want you to be one of them. Right here's one of them. I want to help a couple people make $1 million. And that's going to happen. I haven't put a number on how many I want that. Now, I understand not everybody's meant to make $1 million. Not everybody's meant to grow a business to $1 million. Not everybody wants to grow a business to there. You know, now, do I believe that a lot of people could that don't put in the effort? Absolutely. Do I think there's a lot of people that could that use excuses like I'm too young, I'm too old? That's excuse-itis. Excuse-age-itis is what that is. You can do it. If you're 40, 50 years old, you can make a business making $1 million a year. You can do it. Now, do you want to? You might not want to. You might be happy where you're at. Maybe that's not your goal, and that's fine. It don't have to be your goal, and that's fine. But there's people in here that could do that, and it is your goal. All right. That's what the, I don't know if you're still on here, Brian, but that's what it is. Barkeeper's friend. Thank you. How much of a percent would you recommend into putting Google ads for Christmas lights on pressure washing or hit 100,000 revenue in a month? On Christmas lights, I would probably be putting about $5,000 to $10,000 in there. And you're probably going to, and even in pressure washing, you're going to be about $10,000 also. $5,000 to $10,000 to be able to hit $100,000 a month. How many bank accounts do you have? How is everything divided? So that's a great question. It is, if you do profit first, it's 5 bank accounts. And you can either type in profit first percentages, and it'll bring it up here. And let me see if I can copy this here. Copy image, and I'll actually show them up here. I gotta get off here because it's later than I thought it was. You guys are, I went off on tangents, but you know what? That's fine. I love tangents. I know, and I got 100 people on here, so I know you all love them too. So otherwise, you wouldn't be on here. Let me pull this picture up here for you real quick as I do this on the fly. Save image as. And I'm gonna give you the workout. I'll do the work here for you. So you, like I say, you can do the profit first. You don't have to do these like per se, but it's just a good starting point. You know, if you put if you put your profit at 5-10%, your owner's pay is 50% or 35%, depending on how much money you make. You're putting 15% away for taxes, and then you're doing 30 or 40%. Operating expenses, and that way it's just a good way. It's just kind of a good place to be at. He always speaks the truth. Facts. Thank you for the super chat. Super chat. My 4th house wash tomorrow. List for $670,000. I'm X-jetting it. My mix is 1 gallon, 12.sh, and 4 gallons of water. I have a 4 gallon a minute with a 4-to-1 at the tip. Is my mix okay? It's on a lake, by the way. What are my concerns? You might need to go to 2 gallons to 3 gallons. You might be good at 1 gallon, but might not be strong enough. You can do it and see how it works. Other than that, I mean, you'll be fine. You're going to be plenty enough away from the lake that you're not going to have to worry about that. What's the best way to price breezeways at apartments? See how long it's going to take you. Schedule 3 light jobs. Christmas lights job this week. Awesome. Go check out pressurewashhelp.com/dates if you want to. Jason, where can I buy good hose reels? That's a good question because not a lot of them are in stock. So that's something you're just going to have to check around and see who has them in stock and what's their pricing on it. We did a $5,000 light job this week and just got home from taking pictures. That's amazing. Amazing. Sold. Where is it? Do you have a spreadsheet to packages to follow? I do. What are some issues? I got to get through it. Preach it. I know I said I was going to do questions today, but I just got going on stuff. Screw that advice. Hi, Billy Mays here. Always use OxyClean. I don't care what it is. Just use it. What would you offer if I sign up with you? Well, I have my pressurewashhelp.com or King of Pressure Wash if you want to go check out the membership. I do every Monday night I do a Zoom call, and then every other Monday night I do a Zoom call, which is supposed to be this Sunday, which probably won't happen because I'll be traveling. But on Monday night I'm going to be traveling, but I'm going to make an effort to quit traveling so that way I can do my Zoom call for you all there. This brother will make you rich. I have an average Joe, but I'm ambitious. Jason, been watching for the past 2 years. You, Aaron, and Ray have helped me so much. 22 years old and currently on track to do 75,000 this season. Awesome. Let's do 100. Let's do 100. Let's push it to 100. Raise your prices. Let's do it in 100. Are you doing classes in North Carolina again? Yes, I will be doing classes. I have the dates. I haven't put them up yet. Nobody is average Joe. Awesomeness is everywhere. You just haven't tapped into your niche yet. It's true. He will make you rich. Follow his plan. Amen. Preach it. Last year, I never thought I would make almost $30,000 in a month. It happened this May. Limit beliefs can hold you back. Marketing Mondays are awesome. Thank you, Jason. And so that's Mr. Manny, who that is. Manny is Manny's amazing. Manny is awesome too. And so Manny, again, he did $30,000 in 1 month. That's amazing. And he's 47, 48 years old. So he could have used, I've hit on him before, he could use the old card. He could use that he's got to do it in French. He could use that he's in Canada. He could use all these excuses, but he don't. And guess what? When you don't, you do great things. I just got done with the book Thinking Big. How'd you think about that? That's a great book. If you haven't read The Magic of Thinking Big, I would highly suggest you to read it. It works amazing. This boy speaks total facts. Just got done with The Magic of Thinking Big. I just got done with Magic of Thinking Big. Thinking Big, thanks for the recommendation. I started it Tuesday. It's a really good book. Keep dropping the hearts. From Portland, thinking about light class in Seattle. Yep, it'll be there. Let's see. About to upgrade my trailer. I concur. Jason actually cares about the success of other. He wants to help other get to 100,000, not his own with it, while running any chance of that personal future success like others do. I'm not going to put that one up. That's pretty funny. After the question he put up there, earning your money. Arkansas washing equipment's better. Jason, should I put signs at Friday morning? Yes, you should put out signs on Friday morning. Friday morning or Friday night. Either one. Any experience with heavy equipment washing? Any tips? Yeah. You need good degreasers, stuff like that. Where can I find the package spreadsheet? I don't actually have a spreadsheet. I just kind of go over it. It's in my membership. KingofPressureWash.com. Just started my pressure washing business in California. Super strict rules, but I'm going to go for it. Wish me luck. You can make money. There's a bunch of guys out there that do. Actually, Mark, that's on Facebook, he does pretty well out there. Is there any way to keep your feet dry surface cleaning? Thick of wet feet. The Huck boots, but that's about it. which engine would you recommend for the 8 gallon? Either the Honda 690, that new motor. I know a bunch of people have been wanting that new motor and have pretty good luck with it. At what point did you start to offer medical dental for your employees? I never did. What is for the 200 gallons of water on the trailer if you're using water from the faucet? It's to keep up with it is what that's for. Chris Johnson, Rivertown Pro Wash. You can make it anywhere in this country. No excuses. No excuses. Chris is another great guy that is killing it. That's going to make $1 million this year. Actually, I don't know if he's at $1 million. I think he's 750. But he's another one. Thank you. I hope you're doing well going forward. Think you're awesome. Socks. Do you know the new brand motors? It's not a Predator. I don't know what the other brand is though, but I don't know what it is. All right, guys. I'm jumping off here. If you want to go check out kingofpressurewash.com, next year for sure, you're going to do it this year. You're going to do Christmas lights and hit $1 million down there in the Rivertown. And shoot, where are you from? Myrtle Beach area. Kingofpressurewash.com. Also, go check out. I will be having a class in Seattle, Washington. And so that is awesome for sure. So go check that out, and we will talk at you all later.